My name is Marcus Bennett. I'm a software engineer who had spent the last decade building apps in a glass-walled office with city views, dreaming of the day I'd exchange honking taxis and elevator buzzers for birdsong and a vegetable garden. That dream materialized when I closed on a sleek, modern split-level home nestled at 42 Alderwood Way in Crestview Pines, a quiet, tree-lined cul-de-sac on the edge of suburbia. It wasn't extravagant, but it was mine. Two-car garage, polished oak floors, solar panels, and a backyard just begging to be transformed into rows of carrots and bell peppers. After years of grinding through deadlines and stock vesting schedules, I was finally planting roots. October 10th was moving day. The air was crisp with the scent of dry leaves, and my family, mom, sister, brother, hauled boxes back and forth, pausing only to share a laugh or pass out paper cups of apple cider. The soundtrack? Miles Davis low on the Bluetooth speaker and the occasional bark of my nephew's beagle, Max. I was lifting a monitor when she showed up. Linda Peterman. Imagine a woman in her mid-50s with overprocessed blonde curls, a starched navy blazer that probably cost more than my fridge, and a clipboard clutched so tightly it looked surgically attached. Her heels clicked on my driveway like a countdown to dread. Her smile was tight-lipped, not warm, more of a threat than a greeting. "Excuse me," she said, eyeing my brother Malcolm like he was boosting my 70-inch TV instead of carrying it with care. "I'm Linda Peterman, HOA president of Crestview Pines. Nice to meet you," I replied, wiping my hands on my jeans and extending a hand. "I'm Marcus Bennett. Just moved in." She didn't shake it, just stared at my palm like it carried plague spores. Then she glanced around, taking in my open garage, my sister adjusting curtains in the front window, the Black family settling in. "We have high standards here," she said, my name curling in her mouth like a sour fruit. "I hope you'll fit in." "I'm sure I will," I replied, my tone steady. "Also, my property isn't part of the HOA. It was built before the association was formed. I had my lawyer verify that before purchase." Her eyes flicked, lips thinning. "There must be some mistake," she said, practically hissing. "All properties here are under our jurisdiction. I'll need to see your paperwork." "I'm in the middle of moving," I said, keeping polite. "But I'd be happy to show it to you later." She turned sharply. "Your vehicles are parked improperly," she added, gesturing to my cousin's sedan barely nudging the curb. "And that music?" I raised an eyebrow. "Miles Davis. Noise ordinances exist for a reason," she snapped. Then, waving her clipboard toward my flawless front lawn, "And that yard is clearly overgrown." I didn't say what I wanted to. Instead, I nodded. "I'll take care of it." Malcolm, walking by, muttered, "Get cameras, bro. She's trouble." He was right. 3 days later, I was finalizing my home office setup when there was a knock at the door. 2 officers stood outside. Officer Hayes, young and slightly embarrassed, and his partner, Officer Ruiz, older and stone-faced. "Mr. Bennett?" Hayes said. "We received a report of possible drug activity, loud music, and suspicious vehicles." I blinked. I've been on Zoom all morning. The only car today was a FedEx drop-off. They asked if they could take a look. Though I knew I had the right to say no, I figured transparency would save time. They scanned my minimalist workspace for monitors, a coffee maker, an air purifier. No drugs, just productivity and caffeine. "She said she's the HOA president," Ruiz muttered, clearly irritated. "She's not," I said, pulling out a copy of my deed and exemption paperwork. "Document everything," Hayes advised, a quiet warning in his tone. "She might not stop here." He was right, too. Over the next 2 weeks, 5 more calls came in. Complaint number 1, suspicious visitor, my sister hanging shelves in the living room. Complaint number 2, disturbing the peace, me mowing the lawn at 11:30 a.m. Complaint number 3, possible theft, me grabbing an Amazon package from my porch. Complaint number 4, harassment, me nodding hello at Linda while walking Max. Complaint number 5, vandalism, my leaf blower briefly kicking up dust. Each time, the officers found nothing. By the 5th visit, Ruiz shook his head and sighed. "We're documenting this, Mr. Bennett. We see the pattern." I was exhausted. My sanctuary had turned into a siege. I tried, foolishly, to offer an olive branch. One rainy afternoon, I spotted Linda struggling with grocery bags. I jogged over to help. She screamed, "Get away from me. He's attacking me." Her nephew, Ethan, a guy who looked like he peaked on the varsity football team and then coasted for 2 decades, bolted from her house. "Back off," he roared, throwing a punch that missed entirely. He tripped over a hedge and face-planted into her rose bushes. He pushed him. Linda screeched, already dialing 911. Thankfully, Mrs. Park, a kind widow across the street, saw it all. "He never touched him," she told the arriving officers. "That boy fell over his own feet." Hayes looked at me and said it again. "Get cameras." Now, that night, I ordered the most advanced home surveillance system available. Infrared, facial recognition, motion sensors, the works. What those cameras captured stunned even me. Linda wasn't just nosy. She was obsessed. She watered her plants every morning precisely as I left for work. She checked her mailbox every evening at the moment I returned. She photographed my house, car, guests, once even used a ruler to measure my grass. One night, Aisha, my girlfriend and a civil rights attorney, was eating dinner with me when she spotted Linda squatting in the bushes with a telephoto lens. "She's building a case," Aisha murmured, pushing her plate away. "We need to find out why." The answer arrived on a breezy Saturday that I was raking leaves when she marched up, waving her clipboard like a scepter. "You're violating community standards," she shrieked. "Leaves in Mr. Larson's yard." Mr. Larson, a retired dentist who barely looked up from his paper, shrugged. "It's fall, Linda." That Monday, I got a certified letter. 17 violations. They included things like unauthorized lighting, my porch lamp, leaf negligence, and vehicle color inconsistency. She demanded $5,000 in HOA fines. Aisha laughed out loud. "She's trying to fine you out of the neighborhood." Digging deeper, she discovered Linda had been stripped of her HOA title 6 months ago for erratic behavior. Tom Ferguson, the actual HOA president, confirmed it. She's been harassing other homeowners, too. Always minorities, always the ones who don't fit the look. Then came the real ambush that I pulled into my driveway one evening after dinner with Aisha. 3 men stepped from Linda's property. Ethan, a guy in a bogus security uniform named Vince, and a third man, Brick, all shoulders and scowl. "You Marcus?" Vince growled that I stayed calm. "Who's asking?" "Mrs. Peterman says you're harassing her," Brick said, stepping forward. "Harassing?" I scoffed. "I say good morning. That's it." Ethan lunged. I ducked. Vince grabbed my arm, while Brick tried to snatch my briefcase. Papers flew. My phone hit the pavement. Linda screamed from her porch. "Don't let him destroy the neighborhood." Mrs. Park again saved the day. "I've called the police," she shouted from her window. The men fled. Bruised, shaken, I sat on my steps until Hayes, Ruiz, and Sergeant Brooks arrived. I showed them the footage, the attack, the insults, the spilled documents, including a folder Vince had dropped. Inside was a printed schedule of my weekly routine. Photos, routes, names of my guests. "This is assault," Ruiz said. "And premeditation," Brooks added. Linda claimed I started it. The footage silenced her. "I want to press charges," I said. Aisha arrived, jaw clenched. "This is a hate crime," she told Brooks. "This dossier proves racial targeting. It meets RICO thresholds." At the station, Detective Monroe, a sharp black woman with calm authority, joined the case. She reviewed the evidence and nodded grimly. "You're right. Assault, conspiracy, hate crimes, and civil rights violations." The search warrant for Linda's house uncovered folders on 7 non-HOA homes, all owned by Black, Latino, or Asian families. Notes, photos, even a map she'd labeled reclamation targets. Vince flipped, confessed everything. Linda had paid them each $500 to intimidate me. And others. The FBI stepped in. The story exploded. Fake HOA leader targets minorities. The headlines read that MY blurred security footage went viral. The Jacksons, an older couple who had fled Cedar Grove after months of harassment, called me in tears. We thought we were alone. In federal court, Linda faced 23 charges. The prosecutor, Lisa Grant, delivered a damning presentation. racial profiling, impersonation, fraud, assault, incitement. Her defense tried to paint her as a misunderstood neighbor. But the evidence crushed that lie. One recorded phone call sealed her fate. The Bennett kid thinks he's clever. I've been cleaning up this neighborhood for years. Guilty. On all counts, 0.4 years in prison. $250,000 restitution. No contact orders. Our civil suit followed. David King, our attorney, sought compensation for trauma, health impacts, and property devaluation. We won. $900,000 in damages, $2.5 million in punitive charges. Linda's house was auctioned off. The Jacksons bought it. Ohio passed the Housing Equity Act, banning rogue enforcement and fake HOA schemes. A federal task force was created. Similar rings were discovered in Florida, Arizona, and parts of Texas. Today, my home is my sanctuary again. The backyard is blooming. Block parties have returned. Max runs free without Linda lurking behind a shrub. The Jacksons wave every